Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES for 10% off any purchase over $10. If you use that promo code between now and January 28th, you will automatically be entered in a drawing to win a Ravnica Allegiance Booster Box. Check out the description below for details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and today we have a few Ravnica Allegiance preview cards that kind of came out off cycle over the weekend. Figured, might as well do a quick video looking at these cards so they don't have to get rolled into Monday's bigger video. And this will be relatively short, so I don't want to waste a whole lot of time, but the sources for these cards are, as always, in the description below. And also in the description, you can find a few ways to support the channel if you're so inclined. But with that out of the way, let's get into it. Drill Bit, a black and 2 sorcery, uncommon, spectacle, 1 black. Target player reveals their hand, you choose a non-land card from it, that player discards that card. First, I want to say I like the flavor text, that's awesome. Secondly, I also like that it's target player, not target opponent. Don't know how applicable that's going to be in this environment, but I do like when they give you the flexibility. If you need to discard a card, there's an option here, so that's kind of cool. Now, will this be something I play in Standard? Honestly, I don't really think so, and here's why. 3 casting cost Thoughtseize style effects typically don't cross over well into Standard, they're not fast enough. Now, Thoughtseize is a great card. Even though you take the damage, you're able to force your opponent to kind of lose their curve a lot of the time. You take away that small drop that's going to keep their legs under them in the early game, and sometimes they can never come back from that. That's why it's so good. Turn 3, this isn't as backbreaking. It still can be good sometimes, but not as consistent. However, you do have the spectacle cost, which means sometimes you might be able to play it on turn 2 perhaps. If that's the case, turn 2 is not bad, and I think if you could do that consistently, this card would be a lot better. However, you do have to jump through a few hoops to get there. You have to damage your opponent. That's going to take a resource of some kind, whether it's a creature getting by in combat or a burn spell or something. You have to have something else work to your favor before that can happen. And again, I just don't feel like that's consistent enough. The funny part is you could make that more consistent by putting this in like a Rakdos aggro deck, for example. However, that's not really the deck that wants this. In that case, it's kind of disruption for the sake of disruption, where a Rakdos aggro deck really wants pressure. They want a creature here on turn 3 or on turn 2 where they can just keep the pressure on and just keep beating down the opponent and kind of win the race, right? Now, this type of effect would be better in a control build, but control builds won't be able to activate it early enough consistently. So, I don't know, it just feels a little awkward to me. So what about limited? It just depends on your build. If I'm in a more controlling build in Draft or Sealed, like Esper or something like that, I would certainly consider playing this card. This is a Japanese language preview, and it is Nikya of the Old Ways. Green, red, and 3. This one is a rare legendary creature, Centaur Druid, 5/5. You can't cast non-creature spells. Whenever you tap a land for mana, you may add another mana of any type that land could produce. Alright, so a one-sided mana flare? That's pretty awesome. The downside being, once you have this on the battlefield, you can't cast non-creature spells, which does close off a lot of avenues of play. So let's talk limited first here. The economy's really good. 5/5 for 5. Don't want to overlook that. That's going to add some nice board presence in a game of Draft or Sealed. The mana flare, being one-sided, is going to be awesome as long as you have things to do with it. If you don't have big plays, well, that's kind of a waste, unfortunately. Now, the downside can be tricky because you are going to need to use non-creature spells in Draft or Sealed typically, unless you have a lot of creatures with good abilities attached to them, just because you're going to need a removal spell at some point. So I feel like this card is almost a win more, like you're safe to play it when you're going to win anyway, but maybe it slams the door on a game for you. Or you have to have perhaps a way to bounce it back to your hand in a pinch if you needed to, something along those lines. However, I feel like the upside is strong enough that I'm going to run this in my deck as long as I have some big end curve stuff that I really, really want to get out. Hopefully Gruul does, right? So I do think it could be very good there, but maybe, just maybe, it's not for all decks. If you don't have enough creatures, too many non-creature spells, you might not want to close yourself off to the opportunity to play those when you need to. Or secondly, if you don't have anything to ramp into, maybe you do have better options in your pool. Now, what about Standard? Could there be a ramp deck that wants to play this? Now, that drawback is even worse for you in Standard than it's going to be in Limited because, again, you just need other answers aside from creatures, although you have more creatures to choose from with good abilities currently. So it could happen. But remember, ramp decks are tough to pull off in Standard. They have been successful, but typically when they are successful, you have to have a really perfect storm of cards available to you. Not only do you need good things to ramp into and good ramp spells, but you also need a lot of card draw or ways to at least move through your deck in a very efficient way. If you don't have that perfect storm, what you have is a ramp deck that a large percentage of the time doesn't hit the things in the right order. You get your win conditions without your ramp or vice versa, and that kind of inconsistency can definitely be a problem in Standard. So I'm a little skeptical whenever I think a ramp deck might make it into Standard, but it's not impossible either. Also, this card is at least interesting at Commander because of that one-sided mana flare. I think that's really cool. Maybe you could even build around this a little bit, make it your Commander. Alright, those are today's cards. Tomorrow we're going to be back, and previews will be in full swing, so we will be recapping everything that happens over the course of the day at the end of the day. So until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.